United States, officially known as United States of America and abbreviated become US or USA. This country is located in North America and bordered on the west by the Pacific Ocean and to the east by the Atlantic Ocean. US established at 1770 in Philadelphia. US is a country of 50 states covering a vast swath of North America, with Alaska in the northwest and Hawaii extending the nation presence into the Pacific Ocean. The capital of US is Washington, D.C. It is complex city on the Potomac River, bordering the state of Maryland and Virginia. It also defined by imposing neoclassical monuments and buildings. Next, the United States is among the 5 largest countries. Throughout its history, the United States had been a nation of immigrants. The population is diverse with people from all over the world seeking refuge and a better way of life. The country is divided into 6 regions, which is New England, the Mid-Atlantic, the South, the Midwest, the Southwest, and the West. The current population of US in 2023 is 339,996,563 and increased 1.5% from 2022. Besides that, most of community in US follow Protestantism, which is Christian religious movement that began into Northern Europe in the early 16th century as a reaction to medieval Roman Catholic doctrine and practices. Along with Roman Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy, Protestantism became one of 3 major forces in Christianity. Furthermore, US is the world's greatest economic power in terms of gross domestic product (GDP) and historically has been among the world's highest ranking countries in the term of GDP. With less than 5% of the world's population, the United States produces about 1/5 of the world's economic output. Lastly, the US economy is marked by resilience, flexibility, and innovation. In 2021, US became the top 1 ranking in the largest economy. Other than that, United States annual household income per capita reached $36,430,000 USD in December 2021.
The first inflation issue in USA is disrupted supply chains and increasing customer demand for second-hand automobiles and building supplies alike. 2021 has experienced the fastest yearly price growth since 2012. Inflation warnings were raised by policymakers at the Federal Reserve and the White House as higher costs crept into nearly every purchases made by families and business. The overall price increase was driven by sharp increases in the price of housing as well as used vehicles, rising house and rent expenses, which might be ensnared by long-term contracts and might not decrease until the pandemic passes or supply chain restored. Global shortage of microchips have continually increased the cost of living during the epidemic. The burial costs are also being affected by inflation in 2021, fueled by unexpectedly high demand for caskets and cemetery supplies. Food prices are also increased 6.3% over the previous year as labor shortages and the coronavirus outbreak plagued retail supply chains, leaving some aisles empty. The index for new cars, clothing, home furnishings, and medical care are all increased. Last but not least, crude oil is a significant economic input, and increase in oil prices affects inflation, which drives the overall rate of price growth throughout the economy. Crude oil is a crucial component of the petrochemicals needed to produce plastic. Rising oil prices also have an indirect effect on inflation in addition to their direct impact. Therefore, more expensive oil tends to drive up the cost of many items manufactured with plastic. The core CPI index, which excludes energy and food costs due to their higher volatility, reflects the indirect inflationary effects of crude oil prices.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Ria Kristina Mitrostam and today I will explain about issue of unemployment in USA. The first one is economic recession. During the recession, the economy contracted. Business experienced a decline in consumers' demand and credit terms tightened. Other economic sectors are affected, which has a negative impact on employment levels. Due to a drop in consumers' demand and tighter financial guidelines, businesses were forced to reduce costs, which frequently meant reducing their workforce. Due to the resultant layoffs, the unemployment rate in USA increased to 8.07% in 2012. Next, technological advancement. Older sectors may experience a decrease as a result of the advance of new technology. On the one hand, productivity and efficiency increase across a variety of sectors because to automation and technological improvements. As a result of businesses being able to do more work with fewer staff, some industries saw job declines. The last issues of unemployment in USA is globalization and outsourcing. Many companies chose to move their operation abroad, which resulted in the loss of American jobs. Globalization and outsourcing, however, can sometimes result in job losses, particularly in industry where American labor costs are higher than those of other countries. If companies chose to outsource some tasks or production processes to countries with lower labor costs and market access, American workers may be relocated. Outsourcing has also resulted in job losses in other countries.
Hi, my name is Nuraina Shamimi binti Zawawi, and my part was about how to overcome the problem of inflation in USA. There were two ways that USA has been used to overcome the problem of inflation in their country. First of all, they use fiscal policy by increasing the tax so that the individual powers will be decreased and the inflation can be reduced. The individual's power was decreased because of the high tax, and many things will be more expensive and people will not buy the thing was not important to them. People will not buy the thing that was not important to them because it was in high price, so that even though they buy it, they will be facing the financial loss. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, CRFB, and 55 of the best economists and budget specialists believe that tax return revenue would lower the deficit. The CRFB also has been completely eliminated the federal and tax deduction and the other tax. Then, by increasing the tax, the inflation will be lower because they will encourage people to save in their money. The second way was increase the interest rate. By this way, the market may be influenced by the change in interest helpfully or negatively. Therefore, the central bank will adjust its objective by the direction of the economic state. And when the bank increase their tax, less people will want to borrow the money because it will cost more to do so. So as the result, people will spend less and the economy will be slower down. But if the interest rate was fall, the opposite effect will happen.
We continue with how to overcome the problem of unemployment in USA. There are two categories of overcome, which is the first one is fiscal policy and the second one is monetary policy. Fiscal policy can help to reduce unemployment in USA by increasing aggregate demand and the rate of economic growth. The government will need to adopt expansionary fiscal policy, which entails lower taxes and higher government spending. Lower taxes enhance disposable income and hence aid to stimulate consumption, resulting in higher aggregate demand. If enterprises create more, there will be more demand for workers, resulting in fewer demand-deficient unemployment. Furthermore, with increased aggregate demand and strong economic growth, fewer enterprises will fail and result in fewer job losses. In other words, federal government should help small businesses for reduce unemployment because they contribute to the country's unemployment. The federal government should help them by providing financial aids, grants, and low-interest loans to small firms, which are major contributors to employment development. This assistance will assist them to overcoming financial hurdles and expanding their activities. In monetary policy, by lower interest rate can help to reduce unemployment in USA. Lower interest can define as reduced borrowing costs. People always spend and invest more when it is easy to borrow. This boosts aggregate demand and gross product domestic while decreasing cyclical unemployment. Other than that, monetary policy can coordination with fiscal policy to decrease unemployment in USA. Collaboration between monetary policy and fiscal authorities is required for a successful unemployment response. Coordinated measures can have the greatest economic impact and can help to create the jobs. In this context, communication and goal alignment between the central bank and government is critical. By aligning objectives, monetary and fiscal authorities should communicate and coordinate their goals.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amir Haziq bin Tisno Quatres, and I will be closing off our research on the macroeconomic problems in USA. And based on our research on the United States of America's inflation rate and unemployment rate, we have concluded that we need to maintain a balance between inflation and unemployment because it is crucial to achieve economic stability. High inflation erodes purchasing powers, reduces consumer confidence, and hampers the long-term investment of the country. On the other hand, persistently high employment rate leads to reduced income of the citizens, which decreases their consumers' spending and overall economic stagnation of the country. In addition, we have also realized that there is an inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment, which means that when the unemployment rate is low, inflation tends to be on the higher side, and vice versa. This relationship suggests that as the economy approaches full employment, inflationary pressure tends to also increase. Furthermore, inflation is influenced by various factors beyond the unemployment rate, such as monetary policies, fiscal policy, global economic conditions, productivity, and supply shocks of the countries. These factors can complicate the relationship between inflation and unemployment rate and may result in deviation, which means it goes away from the expected patterns that economic professionals have calculated for the country. And all in all, these are the conclusions that we have found based on our research for the last 10 years of the macroeconomics problems in USA. And that is all from me. Thank you from all of us.